Good morning, all the parents. I am Hemant Mehta. As I'm one of the co-founders of the school, and on behalf of the Polymath family, I welcome all of you to the today's parent orientation, and also to the academic year 2021. Uh, I know with the COVID situation, there are a lot of questions on your mind that when the government is going to give the permission to start the school physically, uh, after how many months? Even if they give the permission, will it be safe for my child to go to school? And till the school starts physically, how will the school function virtually? Will the school be really be effective in virtually? What about the screen time? Will it be helpful? Will too much of screen time will be hurting the eyesight of my child? And I'm sure, there'll be many more questions. And as the school, we are aware of all those concerns. And in fact, 1 month since last 1 month behind the scenes, the whole team has been tirelessly working on this to see, with the given constraints, how best as a school we can function, how best we can give value to the children. And and so today, we are going to address all of those concerns, all of those questions, what kind of preparation we have done as a school for the virtual school, or even when the school opens later, maybe 1 month, 2 months down the line physically. What are the safety measures? What about transportation? And plus, of course, the planning for the whole academic year 2021. So yeah, so in the next maybe 1 to 1.5 hours, we are just will share with you the plans that we have made. And before that, before I move on, I would like to just spend maybe 5-10 minutes just reflecting on the last academic year, 2019-20. And while I'm talking about the last year, you will get a lot of clarity, how the even the current year is going to look like, about the curriculum, the methodology, the culture of school. So in the last year, one of the highlight was this year-long expedition on organic farming, and which was like multi-grade expedition, and uh, and almost all the children from the school participated in this. And yeah, let's say see a video just to see some glimpses of that.
They're making the mountain.
It is 2 feet deep.
So as part of this expedition, we took help from Mr. Shailesh and Abhay from Tripolo Farms, who would come to school every Friday. They would spend few hours with our children. So it was, the kids, they learned organic farming from the professionals, who know how organic farming needs to be done. And as part of the expedition, our kids, they got an opportunity to make a pitch to Bombay Canteen. Like you see the chef, Mr. Thomas in the picture from Bombay Canteen. So they got an opportunity to make a pitch to Chef Thomas to sell the produce of from the organic farm from the school to Bombay Canteen. And this farming expedition then culminated into an event called Introducing Sustainable Food and Farming. So it was a great event in which we had veteran speakers from the organic farming space. We had veteran veteran educators, and we had great discussions from all of them. And we even had farmers market, And plus we had exciting workshops like cooking workshop from Chef Thomas, Varley painting, pottery, farming. Okay, I guess some student, I will have to take away the rights of annotating. Just a minute. Yeah. Uh, I don't know. Somebody was has done some annotations. I will just start the screen sharing again. Okay. Yeah. So as you can see, as part of the event, we had this farmers market where our children are seen selling the produce from our organic farm. Then we had visitors like almost 20-25 teachers from BD Somani School at South Bombay Cuff Parade. They came all the way from South Bombay to see the kind of work that our children have done in the farms. Then here you see Mrs. Jaya Parekh. She's the principal of Ram Ratna International School at Mira Bhayandar. So even she visited with a leadership team, not on that day, but at a later date, just again to know more about Polymath, the kind of education that is happening, and the kind of project-based learning work that is happening at Polymath. Another highlight of last year was, if you see, Polymath was in the top 10 for the in the LearnStorm Khan Academy Challenge. Now, it was a great achievement given that almost 150 schools from all over India participated in it, and almost 1 lakh plus students from these 150 schools participated. And our 20-25 kids from Polymath School, they got the school in top 10. So it was a commendable achievement. And last year, we introduced Khan Academy, and we could really see the levels of engagement of these kids in math shoot up through the roof. I mean, just you can see the level of engagement in this video. Then another highlight was in the summer, we introduced the Math Mastery Program, which was taken by Joe sir, who has joined our team. And the basic idea was like, because during the summer vacation, as it is, there was lockdown and the kids were at home. So we thought, maybe we can use the time to bridge whatever gaps they have from last year so that they are better prepared for the next year. Bhavesh, you want to speak something about the math at this point?
Yeah, I think I can quickly pitch in.
Yeah.
So the whole idea about Math Mastery program is that math is something where the skills they build on each other. For example, a child might get 70 and 80 in one grade, and you would be reasonably happy with that child. And then he would get maybe 70, 80 again in grade 2 and 70, 80 again in grade 3. And you think that the child is kind of going along at a nice pace. He's getting a B plus or an A. But the problem with math is that 10, 20, 30% that he's not getting kind of builds up. And suddenly with a lot of students, when they reach higher grades, when they have to deal with advanced mathematics like calculus and trigonometry and differentiation and integration, all of that, they hit a wall. And the reason they hit a wall is because some of the concepts that they should have learned, they did not learn. So math is not something that you can be okay with a B plus. Like every child has to learn all the concepts or most of all of the concepts. And so we've been doing a lot of research on it, and there is a concept called the math mastery. So what it means is if your child is in grade 6, he'll definitely be learning concepts of grade 6 integers and fractions and so on and so forth. But it's also important that all of the concepts that kind of slip through the cracks in his earlier grades, starting from KG2, he learns to master that. And so how that happens is we have him take like a test for KG2, find out if there are any gaps in KG2. Most of the children don't have gaps, but there are few who have gaps. And then we make sure that if there is, something regarding negative numbers that he's missed, we make sure that we teach that child. And then take another exam for grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, and so on and so forth. So what you will see what you saw in the Math Mastery program and what you will see in the year is the children will be working on two things simultaneously. One is his grade level or her grade level math, and second thing is brushing up the concepts which he or she has clearly missed in the earlier grades, and it is by design. And you will see there has been ample research around it, and you'll see fantastic changes in the overall marks when we take the exam at the end of the year. So I just wanted to give a context to what we'll be doing in math throughout this current year. Back to you.
Okay. Another important thing that we introduced last year was the Waldorf education for nursery and KG1. And so Waldorf, the Waldorf education comes originally from Germany. It was founded by Rudolf Steiner, and it was started almost like 100 years before, in if I remember, maybe 1919. And currently Waldorf, it is been adopted in thousands of schools across almost 90 plus countries. And in fact, yesterday we shared a link to an interview with Apeksha ma'am, who is the first Waldorf teacher of Mumbai, and who has founded 2 Waldorf schools. Like earlier she was with Rida, and now she's with Inodaya School at Andheri. So I'm sure most of the parents must have gone through the interview. If you haven't, I would highly recommend that, because every minute of that video is valuable for the parents of the little children, like age 3 to 7, and as well as for the adults. I guess it's relevant for everyone. In fact, yesterday I spent almost 1 hour just to try to unpack the whole interview, because there were so many key insights. So in the next couple of slides, I just want to share with everyone the main takeaways from Apeksha ma'am's interview. So as you see, like for the little ones, like right from birth almost till age 7, what Apeksha ma'am is saying, right, that the children, for them, school is like just extension of home. It's like a second home, and that home, what should it look like? Like it should be a healthy environment, a natural environment, a beautiful environment, a peaceful, a calm environment, and fearless. The child should not have any fear in that environment. And what is the importance of early childhood education? So all these points I have taken from the interview only. So ma'am draws the analogy to a building, like how the foundation of the building is so important when you want to build a building. Similarly, the early childhood years, that is like the foundation for the child. How he will behave, or whether he will be able to cope up with the pressure of the society when he grows into adulthood. And the formation happens in the early childhood, in the age group of 0 to 7. Another important insight that Apeksha ma'am shared was, like, we understand that that the children need to appear for the board exams in 10th, but and most of the people, what they do is they try to do backward mapping. Like, okay, in 10th, if they have to take the exam, they should be able to appear for 3 months, 3-hour exam. They should be able to read, write, And so they work backward and they try to introduce those skills as early as at the age of 3. But there is strong research which says that the needs of children at this age group, especially the 3 and 4-year-old, they are very different. At this age, they learn through imitation, through imagination, through role play, playing with toys, playing with natural material, exploration, through touch, movement, balance. If you see, like, this is the environment that we have provided in school. And there is a lot of research behind this kind of environment. You see wooden material, the colors are very easy on the eyes. You see a little furniture like a dining table and chair, you see a bed. So for the child, they feel like, it's as good as a second home for them. Another important thing that Apeksha ma'am shared was that the children in the age group of 3 to 7, they learn from the environment around them. They learn from the teachers and parents. The teachers and parents are their role models. They absorb like a sponge from the surroundings. So it is very important to have trained teachers who are trained in Waldorf, teachers who know how to work on their internal self, teachers who know how to meditate, teachers who know how to be happy, teachers who know that, even if they have problems in the family, still they can leave the problems behind and come with a smile in front of the children. And when I say training, it's not a 1 or 2 day training or 1 or 2 weeks training. So like Twinkle and Chetna from our team, they would go from Bhiwandi to Andheri all the way to get training from Apeksha ma'am almost every alternate Saturday for maybe 6 to 8 months. It's that kind of training, that kind of rigorous training that is required. Another insight from the interview. So it's a beautiful concept what Apeksha ma'am shared, the love for education. Between age group 3 to 7, the children's fingers, they are very fragile. Their fine and gross motor skills are not yet developed. Their brain is also developing. So at this age, if there is a lot of pressure of reading, writing, then the brain is not able to grow healthy. And it leads to a lot of frustration, fear, self-negativity. When I say self-negativity, the child doesn't know that this much pressure is being put up on him. He doesn't know how to express himself. But he ends up in the self-negativity mode that maybe I'm not good enough in education. Maybe I'm not good at writing. Maybe I'm not good at reading. And then he starts hating the school. And as parents, even we are not able to understand. We feel that there is something wrong in the child. But it is more of the pressure and not understanding that given the age of the child, what is appropriate for that child to learn at this age. So Apeksha ma'am gave a very good example, like, if there's a tiny bird, if you give a lot of manure, a lot of water, so as parents, we end up doing it, right? We try to overfeed information, we try to overfeed them skills. The child, instead of growing, the plant, instead of growing, it will shrink. The plant might die. So at this age group, in the early childhood, the most important thing is to give a very healthy environment in which, the focus should be on their physical growth. And until what time? Till the fall of milk teeth. Once physically they are ready, once their milk teeth has fallen, they are ready to take the pressure of reading, writing, and everything. At that time, they will be really hungry for learning, and they will pick up things very easily. Again, from the interview, the advice for the parents, because currently it is lockdown, how as parents we should be dealing with the children at home. So, there should be a beautiful rhythm throughout the day. For the little children, the rhythm is very important. The daily chores, what time they get up, what time they take bath, what time they have food, there should be a pattern, there should be a consistency in that. Then involve the children in family work. It could be sweeping, it could be mopping, it could be washing a napkin, it could be helping you with the cooking. Then have the family meals together, have some music time, have some time just dedicated for the child, talk to the child, share something, share a story. And here, when we'll start the school virtually, our teachers will work very closely with the parents. Because as I said, this doesn't come very easy. So the teachers, because they are trained in Waldorf, they themselves will be doing the activities in a similar way. And plus they will also support the parents in getting this done. I'll just share a 5-minute clip. The interview was 35 minutes long. So which I have already shared the link. And as I said, if you haven't seen it, please do see it. But for now, we'll just see a 4-minute clip.
See, first of all, the most important thing is to be convinced, what do I want? Do I want a happy child, or am I competing with the other children? Everybody, all the children are going through pressure. Believe me, I am in a school education system since last 20 years, and I have experienced a lot of children. The education system is only creating pressure on the children. Now, it is my priority to decide what do I want for my child. Because our children, even after starting reading and writing from grade 1, are doing beautifully or as comparatively beautifully to the other children who are starting reading and writing at 3. I'm talking about my own 2 children. I have a daughter and a son who are in their 20s. And they started their reading and writing only when they were in grade 1, when they were 6-year-old. And I'm telling you, there is no looking back. We have gone through IGCSE, O-levels, and they got beautiful grades in that. It's not because they started when they were 6 years old, they started learning letters and numbers. But there was nothing lacking in them. Rather, I realized that they were so excited when my daughter was in grade 8 and she would have exams in school. She used to be so excited that, oh, come on, I'm going to study today because I've got exam. And I used to say, are you really happy about that? And she used to say, yes, nobody's going to disturb me. So she was so excited that she was going to enter into exams now. Now, imagine the pleasure of giving an exam. I mean, you would rarely hear that. It was a pleasure that I'm going to give exams, and I'm not, she wasn't asking for help from anybody. I rather, being a parent, kept telling that, can I help you with maths, and can I help you with something? No, I can manage. Please don't disturb me. I'm studying for exam. So the excitement that I saw on her face just to give an exam, I felt I was on the right path. You know, that was already convincing for me that the child was learning, and believe me, she's a graduate. She's a double graduate. She's doing extremely well in the industry today. So I'm comparing the child who has been in a Waldorf kindergarten, right from kindergarten, gone through class 10 in Waldorf education. And she has done as well as my neighbor's daughter, who was also in Divine Child or in another conventional school, who always was hassled with her exams. Both of them studied in the same standards. They were in the parallel standards. But I would see the difference between the two of them, how one was always hassled of education, the other was just enjoying her studies. So finally, I, as a parent, has to decide what I'm looking for. What do I want from my child? To be a happy being, to be a healthy child, to love education. Because, you know, this love for education has brought her to a point, whatever she does with a lot of passion. She has this great passion. I want to be in the fashion industry. And she has her own cloth brand. She's only 25. And she has started a business of her own. And she's just doing it out of passion. There is no pressure that she has to do it, but she loves it. Now, we have always worked towards creating that love for whatever you do, without any fear of failure. And because she has no fear of failure, that confidence within these children, you know, they make them happy beings. They do everything out of passion. They do everything out of the love for what they're doing. If they're doing a business, they're doing out of the love for it. But not because I have to earn money to get my family going, which of course, finally the money will come. When you're doing business, the money is going to come. But if you're going to do because of the love or the passion for it, I think that's the final aim. So as parents, we all need to decide, what do I want for my child? The love for what they're doing, or the pressure? With pressure I study, with pressure I give my exams. See, first.
In fact, we also saw a video from the Google founders, Larry Page and Sergey Brin. So in the interview, it is interesting. Yeah, it's a short video. Maybe I'll just share it with everyone.
They became two of the richest young men in the world, worth over $6 billion each. They met at Stanford and were immediately drawn to one another.
We clicked in an interesting way at first. We found each other to be greatly obnoxious.
Both their fathers are college professors, but the Google guys don't credit their success to drive or brains. They say it was nursery school.
We both went to Montessori school, and I think it was part of that training of not following rules and orders and being self-motivated, questioning what's going on in the world, doing things a little bit different.
With over 100 million users,
just a minute. Maybe I will need to stop the sharing and start it again. Yeah. So the point, like, even somebody like founders of Google, even they are giving credit to their early childhood education for what they are today. So I can't stress the importance of early childhood education anymore. Yeah. Another thing that we introduced last year was the blog program. So this program we saw for the first time at BD Somani, the same school at South Bombay. And they themselves have, originally this program was started almost 100 years ago in New York City. The basic idea about this program is, give these wooden blocks to the children, and without any supervision and intervention of the children, let the children develop structures out of their imagination. And you will be amazed, like, if you see the difference between the kind of structures that the children can build without any adult help, like the complexity of the structures, if you compare at the beginning of the year and the end of the year, you will see a marked difference. I mean, just see the kind of structures that the children were building at towards the end of the year. So yeah, we are very passionate about this program, and we will continue with this program even for 2021. Of course, whenever we start physically. But yeah, if we can have a similar kind of blocks or at home, it will be very helpful for the child to play with those blocks and make those structures. Another important thing, last year we had Mr. Chandra. He's the director of Mathematical Association of America. So because earlier he had visited Polymath, so next time when he was in India, he expressed an interest that he want to visit Polymath again because of the kind of work that we are doing. And he said that he would like to do a Red Cross program of first aid and CPR. They call it the People Savers. So he did this program with our kids, as you can see, like how to, like what to do when somebody gets hurt or somebody is unconscious, how to give the CPR, or how to tie a bandage. Another highlight of last year was we started the after-school program in tie-up with Quantum Sports Academy. So like we started with basketball court. We started with basketball, and as you can see, the school came up with a basketball court last year. And this basketball court is as per international dimensions. So in the future, if we have to host tournaments at the national level, we can use the school basketball court for that. Then again, Quantum Sports also gave training for cricket, then football, gymnastics for the little ones. In fact, even this year, we got feedback from parents, from many parents last year, that they were not that happy with the sports program, with the PE program of Polymath School, because there was not any particular focus on a particular sport. So this year, the plan is to introduce 2 sports per grade. But of course, now with the COVID situation, we'll have to see what will be the guidelines for a sports program. So we will know only once we receive the guidelines from government about that. And we had a wonderful sports meet last year. I'll just share a few seconds of it. important addition to Polymath School last year was this adventure zone. In fact, we got the inspiration for this from one of the Polymath parent. So Mr. Nikesh Jain, he shared a video from some foreign country that, why you can't, just think if you can build something around this. And we shared with our art teacher, Rohan. And then, he made it possible for us. Like he could conceptualize this, and Bhavesh and Rohan, they worked very hard on this, and we could get a team to get this done. So this is the most go-to place for the children, and even the adults just love this place. Also, we had Romy Pittman. She's a EL consultant from US. So she flew down to India and came to, and she worked with our teachers for almost 2 weeks, giving them training. So this is something that we do it every year. This year, because of the lockdown situation, our teachers have taken training from Romy from mid-May to almost June, but remotely.